The Pythagorean Tarot. Introduction to the Major Arcana. In designing the Pythagorean Tarot, I've tried to go back to the earliest extant decks to understand their iconography and to organise the cards on the basis of that understanding. In support of this, I've also made use of Pythagorean numerology and the 4 elements of Greek philosophy and alchemy. Therefore, before discussing the individual trumps, it will be useful to explain some general features of their order and arrangements in the Pythagorean Tarot. We must begin, however, with another divination system that has some remarkable connections with the tarot. Dice and the tarot. After playing cards were introduced into Europe in the 14th century, they almost completely replaced dice, which had been in use since at least the first dynasty of Egypt. This is reflected in terms such as ace and deuce, which are now used for cards but were originally used for dice. This is the reason there are technical terms for 1 to 6, ace, deuce, tray, cater, sink and cease, but not beyond. 2 kinds of dice were used in classical antiquity. Dice proper, cuboi, tesserae, which are virtually identical to modern 6-sided dice, and knucklebones, which have 4 sides. For divination, 5 astragali were rolled, and the resulting combination was looked up on a 4-sided pillar, many examples of which survive in more or less fragmentary form. It so happens that the number of possible 5 astragali throws is 56, exactly the number of the minor arcana, and that the throws were listed on the tables in 4 suits, 2 of 15 throws, 2 of 13. When dice are thrown for divination, the number of possible throws of 3 dice is also 56, minor arcana, and the number of throws of 2 dice is 21, the number of major arcana, including the Fool. This correspondence would be remarkable if it were coincidental, and it therefore suggests that the major arcana derive from divination with pairs of dice, and the minor arcana from triples of dice or quintuples of astragali. Additional evidence can be found in a system of meditation developed around 960 by Bishop Wybald of Cambray, in which 56 virtues were associated with the throws of 3 dice. Also, in the 15th century, when the tarot first appears, we find a number of poems setting out the meanings of the 56 throws. In truly Kabbalistic fashion, San Bernardino's sermon of 1243 draws an analogy between the 21 rolls of 2 dice and the 21 letters of the medieval Roman alphabet, that is, our alphabet without the J, V, W, Y and Z. Gertrude Moakley seems to have been the first to apply these observations to the tarot. In mathematical terms, 21 is the 6th Pythagorean triangular number, the hexactix, and 56 is the 6th Pythagorean pyramidal number, the base of which is the hecactix. The total number of tarot cards, 78, is the 12th triangular number. The Pythagorean tetractys is, of course, the 4th triangular number. There is not, so far as I know, any record of the correspondence between dice throws and tarot cards. Nevertheless, I've listed a throw of 2 dice for each major arcanum. This is based on the observation that in ancient dice games, numerically higher rolls usually beat numerically lower ones, and on the assumption that the higher numbered die corresponds to the row of the triangular numbers. There are 2 obvious ways the 21 major arcana, magician to world, correspond to the rolls, both of which reflect the structure of the major arcana, as will be explained later. Due to their shape when arranged symmetrically, I'll call the left the fire hexactys, which is the triangle that starts narrow at the top, right-angled triangle, and gets larger at the bottom. I'll call the left the fire hexactys and the right the water hexactys, another right-angled triangle, but like the top right corner of a square. Different dice attributions are useful for different purposes and are provided here as an impetus to further exploration. A correspondence between the major arcana and throws of 3 astragali can be set up, and there are also correspondences between the minor arcana and throws of 3 dice or 5 astragali. Unfortunately, space does not permit me to discuss them in this book. Order of the major arcana. With one exception, I followed the order of the major arcana given in the anonymous Sermons de Ludo cum Alice 1500, the earliest numbered listing of the triumphs, which is essentially the same as the listing given in two other 15th century manuscripts. This enumeration differs in several respects from the currently popular order, but works better in a number of respects. I will call it the Ferraris order, since it was characteristic of tarot decks from that city, where it is quite likely the tarot was first assembled. The sequence is 0 Fool, 1 Magician, 2 Empress, 3 Emperor, 4 High Priestess, 5 High Priest, 6 Love, 7 Temperance, 8 Victory, 9 Fortitude, 10 Fortune, 11 Time, 12 Hanged Man, 13 Death, 14 Devil, 15 Tower, 16 Star, 17 Moon, 18 Sun, 19 Judgment, 20 Justice, 21 World. This is perhaps an appropriate time to show the relationship between the Ferraris order, Pythagorean number theory, and the water hexactis. Write the third triangular number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. According to Pythagorean number theory, the monad 1 is neither odd, male, nor even female, and the impulse from which all else emanates. The dyad 2 and the triad 3 are the primary duality, female and male in potential form, from which all the other odd and even numbers derive. The tetrad 4 and the pentad 5 are the actualized female and male, that is to say, the mother and the father. The hexad represents the resulting union of the male and female. In genealogical terms, the numbers are 1 infant, 2 maiden, 3 lad, 4 mother, 5 father, and 6 union. The third triangular number, as represented on the faces of a die, shows the structure of the first row, the triumph of love, discussed later in the water hexactis. Dice 1, 1, impulse 1, the magician. Dice 1, 2, female 2, the empress. Dice 1, 3, male 3, the emperor. Dice 1, 4, mother 4, the high priestess. Dice 1, 5, father 5, the high priest. Dice 1, 6, union 6, love. The order 2, HPS, 3, high priest, 4, empress, 5, emperor might seem better, especially since traditionally the high priestess and high priest are virgins, but that would deviate from the historical order. Also, pagan priests and priestesses need not be virgins. Perhaps this is the reason that the common contemporary order 2 high priestess, 3 empress, 4 emperor, 5 high priest seems to be a confounding of the two more consistent arrangements. The remaining rows of the water hexactis show the structure of the remaining triumphs. Two, 2, 7 temperaments, 2, 3 chariot, 8 chariot, 2, 4, 9 fortune, 2, 5, 10 wheel, 2, 6, 11 old man, 3, 3, 12 hanged man, 3, 4, 13 death, 3, 5, 14 devil, 3, 6, 15 tower, 4, 4, 16 star, 4, 5, 17 moon, 4, 6, 18 sun, 5, 5, 19 judge, 5, 6, 20 justice, 6, 6 world, 21. Trumps 7, 8, 9, 12, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20 and 21 have the correct sexes. Trumps 10 and 11 might be reversed, as might 17 and 18, but it seems better to preserve the historical Ferraris arrangements. Triumphs. The major arcana are known as trumps or triumphs, an idea that derives from the Renaissance fascination with triumphi, parades that were patterned after the Roman triumphi, processions of victory, which apparently originated among the Etruscans. Moakley shows that much of the major arcana can be understood in terms of a typical Renaissance sequence of triumphs in a pre-Lenten carnival procession. Although she may press her thesis too far, the basic idea has much merit and illuminates the structure of the major arcana. The carnival, of course, is a survival of the Saturnalia, which was a public year-end purification rite of and rebirth. It thus provides a very appropriate model for the major arcana. Since I use the Ferrari's order, as does Moakley, it will be worthwhile to set out the triumphs. See, King of Misrule, 1 Magician. Triumph of Love, 2 Empress, 3 Emperor, 4 Priestess, 5 Priest, 6 Love. Triumph of Virtue, 7 Temperance, 8 Chariot, 9 Fortitude, 10 Fortune. Triumph of Time, 11 Old Man, 12 Hanged Man, 13 Death, 14 Devil, 15 Tower. Triumph of Eternity, 16 Star, 17 Moon, 18 Sun, 19 Judge, 20 Justice, 21 World. There is some ambiguity in the membership of each triumph, since each supersedes the preceding one, and so the victor of one triumph becomes a captive of the next. I also provide correspondences between the triumphs and the 20 throws of the 3 astragali, omitting 21 world for reasons discussed later. In antiquity, the 4 sides of an astragalus were assigned the values 1, 3, 4 and 6, ace, trey, cater and cease, and so a trio of these numbers are listed for each trump, except 0, fool and 21 the world. Note that in the fire hexactis, the King of Misrule is row 21, Triumph Love is rows 2 and 3, Triumph Virtue is row 4, Triumph Time is row 5, and Triumph Eternity is row 6. Thus, when a pair of dice are rolled, if the numerically greater die is an ace, it's the King of Misrule. If it's the deuce or trey, it's a Triumph Love. If a cater, 4, it's the Triumph Time, etc. Conversely, in the water hexactis, with some adjustments, row 1 is Triumph Love, row 2 is Triumph Virtue, row 3 is Triumph Time, rows 4 and 5 are Triumph Eternity, and row 6 is the World. In this case, the numerically smaller die indicates the triumph, ace equals love, deuce equals virtue, etc. In both cases, 1 magician, 10 wheel, 11 old man and 21 world are somewhat independent of the triumphs, since they are the tetrad of transformation, the lords and ladies of chance and necessity, discussed in the next section. Reduced Opsopaus values. The Pythagorean tarot analyses the major arcana into 2 hendecads, groups of 11, corresponding to the personal and universal triumphs, respectively. Thus, the significance of trumps 0 to 10 derives from the Pythagorean meaning of the numbers 1 to 11, and the significance of trumps 11 to 21 repeat on a higher plane the meaning of the numbers 1 to 11. A trump's position in its hendecad corresponds to the reduced Opsopaus in its corresponding deities. That is, each trump has one or more corresponding Greek deities, and according to the ancient rules of Opsopaus, Greek gematria, the Greek letters of the name have corresponding numerical values. For example, Hades, 13, death, has the value 1 plus 10 plus 4 plus 8 plus 200 equals 223. The position of a trump in the hendecad is obtained by reducing the Opsopaus value to the range 1 to 11. This reduced Opsopaus value is computed as follows. Start from the rightmost digit and alternately subtract and add the preceding digits. Add 11 if the sum is negative or 0. Subtract 11 if it's more than 11. Alternately, the reduced value is the remainder after dividing the Opsopaus value by 11. The procedure is actually easier than it sounds. For example, trump 6 is Eros ho Theos, the god Eros. So, Opsopaus, 70 plus 9 plus 5 plus 70 plus 200 plus 5 plus 100 plus 800 plus 200 equals 1,459. 9 minus 5 plus 4 minus 1 equals 7. The remainder of 1,459 divided by 11. Thus, the god Eros corresponds to the heptad 7, which is also the Pythagorean value of trump 6, love. As another example, trump 20 is Athena. So, Opsopaus, Athene equals 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 50 plus 8 equals 76. Reduced 11 divided by 6. 11 plus 6 minus 7 equals 10. the remainder of 76 divided by 11. Thus, Athena corresponds to the decad 10, which gives its meaning of trump 20, justice, in the second 10 decad. Elemental analysis of the major arcana. Kaplan 1.4 assigns the major arcana to the suits on the basis, apparently, of their iconography. When these assignments are combined with the Ferrari sequence, a kind of mandala results, shown in Figure 4. This pattern, which is fundamental to the Pythagorean tarot, will be called the double Hendeket, group 11, or the double Keraunus, since each half represents the 1-2-8 pattern of the Keraunus or thunderbolt, C3, Emperor. First observe that 0, Fool, and 21, Cosmos, are the natural brackets, and indeed some late 15th century decks from Ferrara, they were the only unnumbered major arcana. Also, these two cards recorded special status in scoring tarocchi games, as is 1, Magician. The Fool and the World represent the beginning and the end. 0, Fool, East, in a private world, Chaos. 2, World, West, I am the one world, Cosmos. The mottos will be explained in due course. Next to the 4 agents of transformation, I've invented fanciful titles for their functions, so that it will be easier to recall their places in the structure when the major arcana are discussed in order. Here is the tetrad of transformation. 1, Magician, southeast, Lord of Chance, wand. 10, Fortune, northeast, Lady of Chance, pentacle. 11, Old Man, southwest, Lord of Necessity, sword. 16, Star, northwest, Lady of Necessity, cup. Notice also that each transformative agent has an associated suit, which is in turn associated with the element. The directions are determined by the Pythagorean opposites. Dry equals east, warm equals south, moist equals west, and cool equals north. Finally, there are 2 ogdoads, each comprising 4 pairs of cards, 1 pair for each suit. The first ogdoad, which is ruled by the Lord and Lady of Chance, contains the personal triumphs. Each pair comprises a male and a female, which I call the master and mistress of the wand, pentacle, etc. Here it is. 2 Emperor, 2 Empress, 3 Emperor, wand, fire, southeast. 4 Priestess, 5 Priest, pentacle, earth, northeast. 6 Love, 7 Temperance, cup, water, northwest. 8 Chariot, 9 Fortitude, sword, air, southwest. The order of the elements is that of Pythagorean doctrine, from the central fire within the earth, on which rests the water and the air above. Notice that adjacent rows in the ogdoad share a quality. Air and water share moistness, water and earth share coolness. It will also turn out that each card in this ogdoad corresponds to an I Ching trigram. In each pair, the trigrams are complements of each other. Between adjacent rows, they differ by exactly 1 line. The Empress and Emperor are the mother and father. The 3 daughters are the Priestess, Temperaments, and Fortitude. The 3 sons are the Priest, Love, and the Chariot. The Tower of the Fool divides into the Yang and Yin of the Lord and Lady of Chance, who together create the ogdoad of Chance. The second ogdoad, which is ruled by the Lord and Lady of Necessity, contains the universal triumph, and each pair comprises a second and a first in that order. Think of them as junior and senior. The first, senior, usually ranks over the second, junior, and follows it in time, though sometimes they are equal and alternate in time, e.g. sun and moon. Second, 12, hanged man, 14, devil, 17, moon, 19, judgment. First, 13, death, 15, tower, 18, sun, 20, justice. So hanged man, death, wand, fire, devil, tower, pentacle, earth, moon, sun, cup, water, judgment, justice, sword, air. This ogdoad is the foundation for the Lord and Lady of Necessity, the yang and yin that unite in the Tower of the world. This structure may seem a little far-fetched at this point, but it will become clearer when the major arcana are discussed in detail. 1 soul, yet 2, sets out and knows no bound. 2 lords, 2 ladies turn the cosmos round. 8 couples march in triumph to the goal. These all together make the arcane whole. By 2 and 20 signs the truth is found. The double hendecad, water hexactris and fire hexactris are 3 examples of cosmic spreads which display all the cards of a kind, the trumps in this case, in a pattern that displays important relationships. Another example of a cosmic spread is the heptagram of the major arcana, which I will leave you to your own exploration as you read about the trumps. Prefatory notes. The Roman numeral in the title of each trumps chapter is its position in my rectified order. The first number in parenthesis is the position of the trump in the Ferraris order, which is the basis for my enumeration. The second number in parenthesis is the traditional number of the triumph as given, for example, by Levi, Papus and Worth. Where it differs, justice and strength, the golden dawn position given by MacGregor, Mathers, Waite and Case is shown after a solidus / Only one number is shown when the position is the same in all these enumerations. Each card is given a title in Latin, Greek and English. In place of the usual attribution of a Hebrew letter, I provided an archaic Greek letter, which is more in keeping with a Pythagorean tarot.